Okay, today I just want to go ahead and talk about your workouts and your supplements and just a little bit about cardio. Okay, for your workouts,
I'm not worried about which workout specifically you're following. Some of you may have already started one, and whichever one you're doing, this diet's really going to help you get the results you want with that workout. A couple guidelines that workout should follow. You should be working out at least 3 times a week and no more than 5 times a week. Your workouts really shouldn't be going over an hour tops. And just for me, I'm just going to let y'all know, I will just be doing 4 workouts a week. I've chosen that I do 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off. The reason I chose that, first of all, 2 days is a good number before you take a day off. That gives your body just a little bit of a chance to recover. We are not growing at the gym, we're growing at home and while we're eating. My other kind of principle is just the convenience factor. So what I'm currently doing is working out on Monday and Tuesday, and then I have Wednesday off, and then I'll be working out on Thursday and Friday, and I'll have Saturday and Sunday off. And I go to church on Sunday, so really I just, it's my day of rest. I'm not going to be going to the gym on Sunday, and then on Saturdays, usually just seeing the girlfriend, getting a little time to spend with her, getting a chance just to decompress from a tough week. So that is how I do. That's the number of workouts I'll be doing a week, and the way that'll probably play out is it'll be some form of Monday will be dedicated to legs, at least for the first week. Tuesday was yesterday. That was chest and triceps. Thursday will be probably back and biceps, and Friday will be shoulders and calves. That's just a way to split it up. At the end of this week, I will post the actual workouts I did for the week. If you do not have one and you would like to use it, that's completely fine. But make sure you're in that 3 to 5 workout range and that you're pushing yourself. You do need to be pushing yourself in the gym. I like moderate reps because, there's a lot of kind of myth. Well, not even myth. There is some truth here about low reps to high reps, which is better for muscle, which is better for cutting. But in general, what we are doing is just getting to the gym to break our muscles down and then building it back up at home. So my principle is probably going to be, you're going to be in that 8 to 12 range for your reps. Your first exercise should probably have some form of warm-up for whatever body part you're using, just to prevent injury. So take a look later on this week at my workouts that I'll post at the YouTube, the Balance RX account. You better get a feel for what I do and see whether or not you could implement that into your diet. Okay, next thing I wanted to go over with y'all are the supplements that I'm taking. And this is just for transparency, so you know exactly what it is I'm taking if you want to take that exact same thing. What is really nice about this video series and about me doing this in particular is that I'm pursuing a doctorate in pharmacy currently, my PharmD. And so when we are learning about how to evaluate products and whether or not they work, and evaluate the literature for different pharmaceutical drugs that are in the market, we always look at the primary literature, the papers that have been read on, and we look at the studies that were done, and then we look at the methods and results. And what we do is we see whether or not there was bias in that paper, basically to analyze whether or not we can completely trust the results, whether or not this is something that we should change our practice around. This has always been a huge kind of black eye for the supplement industry, the sports supplement industry, where there is none of this real regulation. Most of the way that supplement companies will sell their products is just through marketing, advertising, and packaging, really kind of focusing on that 18 to 25-year-old range. And while some of the products may have value and may be good, the way they're really selling it is not so much by proving that they work in the studies, because that's too expensive, takes too much time, and there's very little payoff. But it's usually just through flashy marketing, big red bottles, big blue bottles, big purple labels, hot females doing your advertising, or huge muscular men doing it. And that can be a problem because you don't really know whether or not the product's working or whether or not you're just buying a product that has a lot of flashy advertising. So for this 12-week transformation, just to keep it simple, so you guys, what you can see so y'all can see what you can accomplish without a lot of these expensive supplements that you would get at the stores. There's only going to be a couple that I'm going to recommend that have absolutely proven science that I can point you to the papers on. I can show you the literature. I can show you like what the results are. And the ones that I would absolutely recommend, especially because this 12-week transformation, as you've noticed, there's not a lot of variety, to say the least, in the foods that we're eating. You could potentially get some nutritional deficiencies, so I do recommend a multivitamin. You do not need to go out and spend an arm and a leg on a multivitamin pack or a real expensive one. That I just get your generic multivitamin. You can go get a Centrum. You can go to Walmart, Sam's Club, just buy the cheapest one they have, and that's fine. I'm doing this video at 6:30, so I'm still a little tired. Fish oil is another one, the omega-3 6s and 9s. It's really good, and I do take that. So I take one multivitamin a day, and I take 2 fish oils in the morning and 2 in the evening with food. It's really good for your cardiovascular health. It's good for lowering cholesterol levels, but it also is good for brain function as well. And finally, it actually has been shown to increase your metabolism. So that's a good idea. Creatine. All right. Creatine, some of you may be excited about and want to do it. Some of you may want to stay away from it. If you have any kidney problems, you probably should avoid it. For most men, I would just highly recommend it. And women can take it too. I'm going to kind of put it as the optional one. The only key if you are going to take it is to make sure that you're using plenty of hydration. The way that creatine works is it actually draws water into your muscles. It acts as a cell volumizer. In addition, it's creatine monophosphate. So you remember in high school or college that your body runs on ATP. This is the currency that your body uses as energy. ATP gets broken down into ADP. And the more ATP you have, the more you'll be able to do explosive movement. So for us, that just means we're talking about repetitions in the gym. Your body only has about 10 to 15 seconds worth of ATP stored at any given point in time. If we supplement with creatine for a consistent basis, we can actually increase the amount that we can regenerate from ADP back into ATP. So basically, I know that's kind of scientific. The take home is that we can get an extra 1 to 2 seconds of explosive exercise, which wouldn't be that useful for a run or a marathon, but it'd be very useful for a scenario where we're trying to get that 1 or 2 extra reps out, just for that increased workout. So I do like creatine. I'll be using it for the first 8 to 10 weeks. I'll cut it out at the very end because we did mention it's a cell volumizer. It's going to have some water. At the very end of this workout, we're going to be trying to get rid of any extra water. But for right now, just know that I am taking creatine, and that is optional. You'll get the results without it, but I am taking it. If you say, well, if he's doing it, I have to have the creatine, then the one that I use is a microionized creatine monohydrate. There's tons of different forms of creatine out there. You should just buy the cheapest one that's available. I do recommend plain creatine monohydrate. I don't think there's a lot of evidence that any of the others have any real benefit other than they're going to take more out of your wallet. The microionized basically means they've just ground the molecules up to a smaller size, so the smaller you get the molecule, the more likely it is to dissolve. And I find that to be true, the microionized, as opposed to just the regular creatine monohydrate, does dissolve perfectly in your drinks. Protein. I love protein, it's awesome. It is not as good as food. It is a meal replacement. It's basically going to give you the convenience of a chicken breast when you don't have time or can't afford to get the chicken breast in. So there's only two real times that I would use protein. The first one is absolutely just post-workout. It's just an extremely convenient post-workout shake. I just use whey protein. Currently, I am using Syntha-6, I just got a great deal on it a while back, and I stocked up on it. But honestly, as soon as I run out of that, I'll probably just go back and get either get the 5-pound bags off DPS Nutrition, which you can Google DPS Nutrition, or I'll go to Sam's Club and buy the 5 to 10 pound bag of Myoplex, I think, Myoplex chocolate or vanilla that they sell. That's an excellent deal either way. Both of those are extremely good proteins. My body hates 6:30. And yeah, so that was the first time. The other time I'll use it will be just when I'm taking it to work, when I'm going to be at work for a couple of hours and I'm not going to get a break. But I know in the middle of that I am going to need to get a meal in. I'll just take that in a shaker bottle, and I'll show you some of my things later on. And I'll just it only takes me 10 seconds to do a protein shake, and you can just down that quickly while you're at work. Alright, the last supplement is water. A lot of you just tend to forget water. We're eating a lot of food. We're going to stay very full for most of this period of time. Sometimes it's tough to remember how crucial water is. Your body's made out of 70% water, so just for simplicity, let's just think about it this way. Water is the fuel that your body runs on. I mean, it's what's going to keep everything moving. It's going to keep you hydrated. It's going to keep you healthy. It's actually going to increase the weight loss. And the more water you consume, the less water you retain. And that's probably the biggest tip. One of the best ways to have less water in your body is to drink more water. And it's counterintuitive, but basically we're tricking our body into thinking that it has lots and lots of water coming, so it doesn't need to store it. All right? Our bodies are very smart, so if it doesn't see any water coming in, then it kind of goes into self-preservation mode, and you stop urinating, basically. Whereas if we keep getting lots and lots of water in, we basically will pee it all out as it comes in. Okay. Today for me, I'm going to go ahead and take Zoe for this walk real quick. It'll be like a 15-minute walk with 5 minutes of twist at the end. I just finished my walk, and I had a couple more thoughts that I wanted to get to y'all today as soon as possible. One, we talked about the workout schedule, we talked about the supplements, and we talked about the side effects. The last thing was the cardio. You know, I told you that the workouts would just be 3 to 5 times a week, and that was, you know, you could pick something that worked for you. I recommended 4 was what I was doing. The cardio is every day. Every day. There is no rest day. Cardio is not running, it's not super high intensity, it's just a brisk power walk. Twice a day for 15 to 20 minutes. That should be all you need. What I usually am doing right now is 15 minutes of walking and then 5 minutes of twist at the end. And just to illustrate with the twist. Alright, so with the twist, I'm just, that's 1. So every time you go to this side, that's 1, 2, 3. 4, like that. And then I do 150 of those. It takes about 5 minutes.
So breakfast, I think I'm just going to do a protein shake and a cup of oatmeal.
Then I'm going to eat another meal in about 2 to 3 hours. And then at that point it gets real regular. It'll just be rice and chicken or a potato and chicken. And I just alternate each one. For my portion sizes, I use a cup of rice cooked or a cup of oatmeal uncooked. With the oatmeal, after I've measured it out, I just pour water on it until the water's covering it, and then I microwave it for 1 to 2 minutes. Then I'll go ahead and put Splenda on it and some cinnamon. Another tip for the oatmeal is you can go get the flavored oatmeal packets, and you can put those into a 1 cup measuring cup, and it'll fill it up part of the way, and then just fill it up the rest of the way with regular oatmeal, and that'll give you the volume of 1 cup with all the extra calories that come from those flavor packets. Okay, let's see, and then so just you're going to alternate throughout the day. One thing I want y'all to work on over the next week, I'm not going to really harp on it too much, is just focusing on whether or not you end up doing 6 or 7 meals a day. I know when you're doing that many, sometimes it's hard to keep track of, and really it's not going to be a big deal in terms of your weight loss this week. The weight's going to come off, but in terms of over an 8-week period, we really need to get a feel for how many meals a day you're actually doing. So obviously if you're doing it every 2 hours versus every 3 hours, you're going to have room to get 1 more meal, and then if you're doing it every 3. So just, I don't care what you do, you can do either 6 or 7 meals a day, but we really just want to get you to a point where you're being real consistent with it. That way, as we get closer to week 6 and 7, and we start to do some tweaking, we know exactly what to tweak. And I'll go over those with you later on.